This is Oculus on our 31 spooky movies of Halloween. Have you ever seen a movie and a sequel in one package? Because that is what Oculus is. It's like someone wrote a movie and then turned around and wrote a sequel and then left both scripts out only for their cat to happen along and shred both of them into tiny pieces. And then the scriptwriter put the pieces together with scotch tape and thought, hope that works. And it does. It does work. Do you remember the magic mirror in Snow White? Well, imagine the magic mirror, only it's crossed with Reagan from The Exorcist and Pinhead from Hellraiser. Oculus is actually nothing like that, so just forget everything I just said. Oculus, not to be confused with the Oculus Rift, which is from Meta, which makes it actually more evil, tells the terrifying tale of how a cursed mirror destroys a family. Part of the film takes place in the past, where the mirror drives the parents into insanity, and the other takes place in the present, where the now grown-up children are dealing with their trauma by destroying the malevolent mirror once and for all. The film switches back and forth between time periods, like Dr. Sam Beckett in the middle of a season finale. Such a thing shouldn't work, but it does, and it does beautifully. What we have here is a film dripping with dread. It forgoes gore and too much violence, opting instead for a more psychological approach to horror, and in my opinion, actually elevates this film and makes it more memorable. Every frame of this movie is so enshrouded in a creeping sense of foreboding that you almost feel suffocated by it. What's more is that one can make the argument that Oculus tells the story of a haunted mirror destroying a family, or Oculus tells the story about how mental illness destroys a family. Are we seeing the result of a paranormal force, or is the family's true curse one from within? Either prospect is haunting and disturbing. Another hallmark of an effective horror movie, in my opinion, puts children at the mercy of forces beyond their control and has them face it alone because adults don't believe them. To me, there's nothing more frightening and no feeling more lonely than being a child and being scared and alone while surrounded by adults who are supposed to protect you. In my opinion, this is why It Chapter 1 was such a great movie, while It Chapter 2 was a failure. Chapter 2 lost that most primal, most familiar horrific element that we've all shared, and yes, both movies would have benefited if they'd been combined into one film and jumped back and forth just like the novel did and like Oculus do. I mean, yes, it would have been 5 hours long, but I would have watched it. Oculus is an intimate slow burn and revels in the fear of someone doing something terrible without realizing it. The horrific reality of that act never hitting home until it's too late to take it back. You can argue that Oculus is all about the supernatural, or you can argue about how it's all about mental illness and familial trauma. To me, both aspects are equally frightening. But to form an opinion, you will have to watch, and, to be sure, once you watch Oculus, I have no doubt that you will add it to your list of 31 spooky movies of Halloween. Another hallmark of an effective horror movie, in my opinion, puts children at the mercy of forces beyond their controls and have What?